All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room, guys. National Logger Day special episode. Sorry about that. It's a little early on a Sunday. Normally, we do this 2 years ago, it was on a Friday, and last year was on Saturday, and we did it later in the day. So it's still early today, so I apologize for that. But happy National Logger Day, everybody. Jersey gentleman, that's with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Lager Samurai today.
Lager Samurai today, yeah.
And Shirley from Wild Air Brewing, we are here at Wild Air Brewing.
Cheers.
Look around. We are at the beautiful Wild Air Brewing here in beautiful Asbury Park, New Jersey. We've had Wild Air on before, but on the regular show. And Doug, the brewer, was on. Nick's been on the show before last week, his other brewery. So we'll talk about all that. But how are you this evening? So it's this evening when we do the show. But how are you on
It's 5 o'clock
Sunday?
somewhere.
Both of you, sir.
Well, we got a little break in the rain, which is nice. Feeling really good though. It's a pretty nice day to be here drinking some. I got a Dunkel here. It's the perfect day for a multi lager here.
I'm drinking a Dunkel too. It's delicious.
Yeah. We try to offer them in all shapes and sizes and colors, and this is the order of the day, I think, on a Sunday. Yeah.
I had to go with the
What are you drinking over there?
straight up house lager. It's lager day, so one lager in the word lager in the description of the beer, so one straight up lager. But man, when you look at that board up there and all the different iterations of lagers that they are offering here, this is why we decided we need to do it at Wild Air.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do Lager Day at Wild Air. I don't think, is there any brewery in New Jersey pumping out more lagers at the same time? And that's what we're gonna do.
Well, why don't you tell us about your Nick? Why don't you tell us about the beers you're brewing? I mean, you do have an IPA up there,
Yeah.
but for the most part, you're doing lagers and spontaneously fermented.
Yeah, a lot of mixed firm stuff. Yeah, I mean, this was kind of like the whole thing behind Wild Air. Obviously, in the name is the word wild, so that would obviously make things. Most people, what we do is doing wild fermentation, but it was kind of like trying to showcase two of the older, more traditional styles of brewing. The mixed firm, spontaneous saison styles of Belgium, and obviously the historical lager techniques of Germany. One of those things, like, we think that's the way beer's going anyway, going back to these more traditional, more, quaffable styles, as opposed to the heavy, the massive, beers we're seeing a lot of times. This is the kind of beer that we enjoy drinking, so we wanted to share that with people. And kind of try to show that, lager is not just fizzy yellow beer, like in the macro lagers. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of different versions. Every area has a different style. There's new styles still popping up in lager. There's a lot to be explored. But at the same time, yeah, we do still offer a nice hazy IPA, kettle sour, 1 or 2 kettle sours, to keep people, engaged. People that aren't, maybe ready to take that trip, and then we can kind of guide them, from where they're drinking to, the world of lagers and mixed firm stuff. So It's been fun. It's been fun to see some people come in here that were not receptive to it at first. And you're out there seeing, oh yeah, there is something. If I like hops, there's still some lagers that I like. If I like, heavily fruited sour, there's some mixed firm, barrel aged stuff that we're doing here that's been, well received. Even last night we had a show here and people were really digging some of the mixed firm stuff.
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, it's cool to see. Like, it's cool to see different people get into this, and we've tried to make it more accessible here. Where sometimes there's a barrier to some of this stuff where, like, you're afraid to ask, what is a mixed fermentation, mixed firm saison, or what's Brettanomyces, what's this? And we're trying to make that accessible and give people something they can understand and feel comfortable, asking questions and engaging with. So it's been fun. But the lager is definitely, we I think have about 10 or 12 different lagers on right now. And that's fun for us.
They are all fantastic. Drinking the Dunkel. You just picked this up, right?
Yeah. We just packaged it up on Tuesday, for statewide distro. We're also in Philadelphia now. It's been doing really well there, honestly. That was really awesome for us. Philly's such a great beer city. And they reached out to us because they're like, we see you guys are making lager. We think that's something, obviously they have some great breweries there making lager. It's not heavily distributed. It's given us an opportunity to do some stuff. We're actually doing an event at Sidecar in Philly on Thursday with like a tap takeover of lager. But yeah, This Dunkel is, there's the Dunkel Weiss, which is a wheat beer ale. This is the Munich style Dunkel, which is a very malt forward lager. A lot of carafa, specialty malts. They give it I get toasted bread crust with a hinted roasted toffee almost, but light. It's 4.9%. I know the color may be intimidating to some people, but it's crisp. It goes down easy. Like I said, on a cloudy, late fall, early winter day, this is the beer that I would reach for probably 9 out of 10 times.
Right.
And
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you're right. It's light. I mean, you get that roasty toffee, and bread is like it's the darker caramel toffee, darker brown, but it's not. It drinks super light.
Yeah,
really, really tasty.
Yeah, no, we've even tried to push it. If somebody's looking for a Yingling, this is a beer I would direct them to. It's got a lot more than Yingling, but it's in that same realm where you might, again, giving somebody something they know as a thread to get them to try something new is a good way for us to do this. Yeah,
using Yingling as a gateway to
yeah, exactly.
Just, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Beer can have more flavor.
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
Yep.
That's right. What I'm drinking is more that gateway from the core Budweiser Miller drink into the craft lager world.
Exactly. Yeah. And then again, there's great examples of, like I said, traditional American style lagers being made by, like we talked about Bird's Mouth, you guys did last year, making traditional great lager, it's been really fun to enjoy, some of these beers and seeing other breweries start to push it now. You're seeing a lot more Luker taps at bars, which is something we were very, focused on at first. You're going to serve these kind of beers, you got to have the right equipment to serve them too. We want to try to do it justice. We're never going to be, Prague or Munich, but,
exactly.
do what we can.
And there's a brewer. Here.
I've heard of this brewer.
I've heard of him before. His name is.
He's got a reputation. Yeah.
And yeah, that's right.
John, why don't you show everybody where we are?
Okay. So anyway,
Because it looks like he's driving and sitting in his car.
Yeah, I'm not on the road.
Sitting and David's sitting as well. And there's a van inside. It's not down by the river.
Yeah.
There's a van inside the brewery.
See how much rain we get.
It's really cool. You got a bit of here. You got to
Inside the inside.
And sometimes dogs eat here.
More times than not.
Actually, more often than not, yes. But sometimes he's not here. Most of the time he's back there. Maybe it's a little swing back there.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Doug's been on the show before for a while there.
Yeah.
Before you even opened.
Oh, yeah.
I was not on that show.
When
Matt was filling in, I was in Italy.
You were
traveling. You were in mid-air flight.
I was across the Atlantic at the time.
He was international samurai. Exactly. So how are you? Sir, I'm fine.
Went to Christmas party last night. So I had to think back to get my car, but this is perfect timing.
Yeah.
Still a little fuzzy. Fresh.
Somebody I can drop you off at home.
There's the dog, yeah.
It's funny. When I leave here now, after we finish this, I'm going to be going to your neighbor's house. Yeah.
Say, maybe we have some more beers.
I'll have some more beers there.
I was just being very power washer.
That's great. Anyway. So, but you have anything to say about the loggers that you're brewing here?
We're gonna say some really good. We got this new one coming out, like a half, Lenore. First year, I had some friends saying that it looks like a better Guinness, but
Is that a Poe reference, is it?
Yeah.
yeah, we can help you guys.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Put a lot of stars now.
Hey, it's a short beer. John and I hate short.
And again, that's another thing we talk about. Like I said, with gateway stuff, people are surprised to see that Guinness, people think of Guinness as a heavier beer, the dark beer, but which it is, but it's, 110 calories. Schwartz beer is something that we're able to offer to someone looking for Guinness. All of a sudden, they go, wait, this is a lager. It's dark, but it's not heavy. It's crisp. It drinks easy, but it has that
statement there because Guinness in this country is nice and light.
Yeah.
Over it, when you go to Ireland and have it there, that can build you up like a meal. It is so different there. There's more flavor, but so much more body filling to it. Oh,
Interesting. And do they drink it warmer there too, right?
no, they drink it ice cold. And I asked them that. I said,
Huh.
one of our things we do in the US is we pour keep it cold. They're like, you can't pour it cold enough. Now,
Really?
this is at the Guinness factory.
At the Guinness factory, they said.
They're like, no, you
Yeah.
pour it ice cold. It's got to be ice cold, or if you don't have that like ice sheen on the outside of that glass,
Really?
it's not been done. And the more I had there, I'm like, oh god, they're
I mean, that's curious because
yeah, it seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
counterintuitive because any beer that has, of course, a lot of bigger flavors and bolder flavors, you want them to be much higher than ice cold.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we make a Baltic porter, and I love to let that warm up in the upper 40s. Like let it get around 50, and that's where like that pub.
Absolutely.
Like yeah.
Your version right now is the spiced version of the Baltic Porter you've got on.
Exactly. Yeah, you want that one. I like that one, especially with that ginger and clove to be a little warmer on that side. Just to really make that expressive. Yeah. Like I said, Doug is cranking out some really cool stuff. We've been, like I said, we were talking, really trying to work on spunding, doing some more natural carbonation. That is like one of those fine tuning things that you really start to dial the stuff in. It's a way to take that beer and just add a little more depth to it, a little more character. Especially in lager, that kind of spunding and
Freshly delivered by Fresh.
It's,
Right on the tank itself.
Freshly delivered by
a sneak peek of what's to come.
Say Fresh.
Hang out here, dude.
There he is. There's the man.
All right, so this is where you just prove when it's going to be when you release it.
We're getting next Tuesday. Not this Tuesday.
Yeah, the 19th, I think, right before Christmas. So
Usually all the lagers always get about 6 weeks. Kind of that stamp down there.
Yeah.
Because it's really good time to condition it all and actually probably spun it. It's very soft, but like
It's super soft.
It's very soft.
It's super soft. Yeah.
Man.
like I said, like I said, yeah, you see, like this is poured off the tank.
That roast.
Like I said, you pour it off the tank, though. There's still a head like sitting there. It's not very rare to have that with carbonation of beer.
That's right of the
Right out of the white tank.
Yeah.
That's like this roast is different than most roasts I've had.
So I used to always try to like change the malt bill, but it's only like 10% of the grain bill. 10%, that's a big impact on the whole, malt bill obviously. So it's kind of like change up, with the 1-2% or like I'll add like multiple stuff, to like build up that 5%.
This last quarter, you're going to get like a chocolate roast.
Right.
Yes. This is more like, and it's getting like kind of character, but we're sitting in a VW minibus. My mom was an earthy crunchy, my other was all of that. And so we weren't allowed to have chocolate. Instead, we had so she would let us have chocolate, so they would take the carrot. And that's kind of the flavor I'm getting at. Yeah, carrot.
Yeah, I actually use chocolate.
That's why we're not getting chocolate. Yeah, it's a different roast bill that I'm used to. I'm loving this. I'm digging this.
Yeah, it's super soft. It's not. There's no like.
No.
There's no like. Bitter end on the.
Yeah, it's almost like that. It's almost like that gypsy sauce, right? That's
really,
yeah.
It's really, really, really good.
But despite the PSD from the Arab days,
Well, that sounds like a really problem.
I'm still enjoying
It's not
it.
like Arab sports beer, so.
Definitely Carafa in there. I don't know if that's the same as Cara, but Carafa's like
I don't know, but man,
it's like a bitter black malt that really gives it character without being too astringent. Which, like I said, when you have a lighter body beer, like you can get away with more astringency and stab an 8-9% stout. Something light like this, you don't want that like toffee like bitterness that comes through in some of those like heavily modified dark malts.
Oh, you can post this up and have it on, so you don't have to fucking go.
I'm gonna go get the rest of the care real quick. I'll be right back.
Exactly, yeah. I'll probably use it.
Yeah, none can use it, but I like being mobile.
There. Perfect. All right, there.
Now, you guys keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna go get enough.
Over here.
And show them those Luker tabs.
Yeah, I'm gonna show them the tap.
So anyway,
There's no
yeah,
beer tender.
I can hear you. Yeah, just super soft. We'll do it this way. Hold on. Do it. Then you and I. Here we go. Here, right here. There we go. Exactly. So anyway, no, yeah, it's super soft, and it's I'm really digging it. I'm really loving
Yeah,
it.
so
Yeah.
we're excited.
Easy to drink. Like another game
Actually,
that, like
think
you
about
said,
maybe
like somebody else.
homogenizing it, 'cause it has
This would be awesome. Yeah, this would be awesome.
Like, I think we need to do like a cater to it, make sure I was talking to Justin about it. Everybody wants to do these good groups, guys. It's like doing a Sunday drop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's right. It's got that. It's got that softer mouthfeel, so it's definitely get intense.
Yeah, but I don't really get it. So, who wants, we love getting it.
Guinness already got the market cornered on that. Yeah.
You don't want to do that. Yeah, exactly. So, but it's fantastic for a sports beer. This is it. But it's a sports beer. It's not like a coffee keeper or anything. So you have that. You have that.
The power, yeah.
The power, and the growth in that. Yeah, but this is fantastic. So yeah, kudos.
So I'm getting a pour.
Jacob, you know what
Yeah.
So John, I'm over here. I'm getting a pour of the Rauch.
What do you get?
The pour of the Rauch beer.
Pour the Rauch beer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we made that one with,
Rauch beer.
we had them smoke,
Shocker, Samurai's getting a pour of the
So
Rauch.
of course Nick wants me to show off the Lucre taps, and I order a beer that doesn't come off the Lucres. But here are the Lucres right here.
oh, the Doppelbock. Oh, no, Martin,
You know
yeah.
what? Get the Rauch beer. I'll get that.
If you look, because that's got a lot of that smoke character from the barrels. That barrel aged Martin.
All right. So you took the Samurai on my phone. There we go. I'll go get the barrel aged.
Yeah, definitely get the barrel aged.
Yeah, that's natural progression for you. I did not go. I guess I get one natural progression. Lager to port to a Rauch.
So I'll get that. And then we'll cover it again.
So question, talk about the Rauch. What Bamberg malts?
So that actually, down the street is Community Barbecue.
Okay.
So Tom.
You spoke your own malt for this.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's one thing I mean, Asbury Park is a very creative town. There's a lot going on here, and we've been very lucky to work with a lot of different businesses in town already to, bring some of these beers to life. A lot of our barrel aging stuff. Doug was good buddies with the guys from the distillery in town. I've gotten some great barrels from them. We have a local urban farm in town. Some of our wild beers have had fruit and other stuff grown right here in town. And then, Tom at Mutiny Barbecue is doing the Lord's work, making some very delicious barbecue, but he's also always willing to experiment and, smoke malt with us, which has been really fun. And it's made a difference in our beer. It gives it a unique character that you're not going to get anywhere else other than here.
This beer is amazing. I absolutely love this.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's right up your fucking
This is my bag. And this is not one of those. This isn't one of those heavy bacon beers. Like the Schlenker was, which is just
I get smoked salmon.
Or
Terry says that word a lot. Ham.
Ham. Yeah, it's not like you've taken the ember out of a burnt down house and started sucking on the thing.
Yeah.
This is approachable. This is beautiful, and this was just smoked up the road, huh?
We're on Second Avenue. That's on Fifth Avenue. So yeah.
What wood smoke was this?
Oh boy, I don't know. I guess we'd have to ask Tom that. I don't know what he smokes with. He's very specific about his wood. Like I said, he was trained down south. He uses it's an outdoor wood smoke, 100%. Everything he makes there.
Well, he's from the south. It might be hickory and apple.
Yeah,
right.
Could be. Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him next time. I don't know what he smoked it on. And he'll let it sit overnight, like kind of cold smoke overnight, which is cool. Like I said, it definitely. Using somebody that knows better, like when we can have a better control over the smoke we get in our grain, I think, like I said, gives our beer a very specific character you're not going to see, just by buying malt from smoked malt from somebody. So that's cool for us. Like we like to experiment with that.
Wow.
Try to honor tradition, but tweak things to make it our own as well.
What's the whole thing? You've
That's
got.
fantastic.
You said a lot of your beers are. We've been talking about gateway beers at the beginning. From either a Yingling or from a Coors Budweiser, and for a Rauch, this is an amazing introduction into the Rauch style, where it's not as challenging as most Rauchs can be. It's not going to make someone immediately start to say, I ordered wrong.
Yeah.
This is not that. This is nice. This is beautiful.
That's big.
That's
What I was saying earlier.
it's like, you want to make it subtle, right? But you also want to appreciate the nuance, but still have that ability to really shine. But, obviously, all the different kind of are very soft and just delicate, but it's still like able to appreciate the subtle nuances of like barrel age and all that.
Yeah, this is great. As you can see, you got crashing down over there. So we're all within like 5 feet.
We're all within 5 feet. Yeah.
And the only reason we're not getting feedback is we got all of our speakers off.
And this is, or Nick, or one of you, or both of you, say, talk about this one. This is the Paralympic Martin.
So we can have one.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's in that cool. You know it's coming home with me. Like I have no room left in the beer fridge.
Yeah, more cans. That's what we.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
What barrel did you use for this?
Whiskey.
Whiskey from the distillery in town.
I believe so, yeah. We got a lot of barrels back there now, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that. Or no, were these the bourbon?
These were the actually
They were actual bourbon barrels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bourbon barrels.
We bought these ones.
I think Northeast Barrel Co.
We'll
probably.
check it out in the back if you want, but yeah, they're like gun style.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it really pulls, like, obviously you get the classic Martin flavors. We pushed the ABV a little higher, and that worked well. Like I said, I think it was almost a year they sat in barrel.
It was almost a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So we saved it, and then we had extra, and I was like, shit, we should just throw this in barrels.
yeah.
So this is American you brewed for last
Yeah, 2022.
2022. And before you even released it,
Yes.
you had it in the barrel. So this is in barrels before you actually open
Yeah.
Oh,
ish.
It's a little bit up
I
there.
do the barrels like when I step out, I want to say like around, so it's been almost a year since I
Get us real friendly beer.
That's all.
Because you develop that subtle oxygen flavor you want to pick up obviously from barrels, and then you get that nice wood character. It just allows it to mellow out, especially with the ABV, and like I don't know, like, I think it's almost like lagering in there. And a lot of people are doing stuff like lagering, fooders.
Yeah, it's a lot of fooder aged lager.
Really
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. People are doing like alternate endings doing that.
They got horizontal food.
Yeah, it's sweet.
And yes.
So like things like that stuff is always like the interesting because then you get it's a little more layered.
Yeah.
So like obviously a lager could be so basic, but yet you always appreciate that. But you can also add that little depth, layers of depth and barrel aging, fooders or things like that.
Gotcha.
I always enjoy that.
Always enjoy it.
But we cut some of the barrels, so we didn't keep everything. So that's part of the barrel game, right? So but that's what happened.
Yeah.
We kept some were good, like the oils like that. And that's when we blend it. That's what I like.
That's an important lesson here. Put stuff in the barrel, right? It doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Breweries do dumb people.
Yeah.
It's always a risk.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Trust me and these guys, it's unfortunate. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why when people sometimes get sticker shock with some of the wild from barrel aged stuff, like, yeah, we're running a risk where 50% of that beer could be dumped down the drain. So we got to, try to make to make it work financially, you do have to like
John, I'm going
take
to
some
correct
risk.
you. The good breweries.
the good breweries. Yes.
They're the ones who care about their quality.
If you find out a brewery is dumping bad beer because it wasn't the quality was
Support them.
Yeah.
That's the brewery you want to go to a drink.
Yep.
Yeah. We're all
Yeah. Yeah, we're dealing with living organisms.
Just with full disclosure, most breweries nowadays.
Most do.
That. It's a needle in a haystack to find a brewery that doesn't do that, all right? So,
Specifically for barrel.
specifically for barrel.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have bad bags of the stretch cheese or something went wrong with the glycol system, like just tripped or something, solenoid failed. Things happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
like, but barrel aged, we run that risk. But that's the risk we're willing to take, out there. So we appreciate the flavor. So it's something we like to do.
Absolutely. Grab another beer. You grab another beer.
I'm gonna wait for. I've got a question for this guy, but I want to wait for fresh.
Wait for fresh to come back. Jake, I'll ask you. So you guys opened it up here. So Labor Day weekend, 2022.
Yes.
And so you're approaching you're a year and a quarter.
Yeah.
At this point, right? But that's really been around for
2017. So,
2017.
yeah, 2024 will be 7 years in May. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like 1 year, sometimes it feels like 100 years, but you know.
And you're running double duty?
Yeah. Myself and my business partner, Bert Gay, kind of like pinballs, bouncing around. But like I said, we got good teams at both spots. You know, really working hard.
That's awesome.
You know, like I said, tasting room. We try to make sure, like I said, it's a place where you can come feel comfortable drinking beer and asking questions because we don't want to turn anyone away from this. We love it. We want people to fall in love with it too. You know, and then taking what we do seriously. You know, our mantra as brewers is style matters. You know, like I said, which is why something like this, you know, is important. Like lagers, you know, executing to a style, you know, whatever that style is, whether it's milkshake IPA or Munich Dunkel, you know, understanding what the parameters of this style is, and then finding ways to express yourself in that style. You know, it's, I think the challenge for brewers these days, because there's a lot of good beer out there, and making something that, you know, people can appreciate as a traditional style, or say, okay, yeah, like your barrel aged Martin has what I like in a Martin, but it's something different too. You know, like I said, what made craft beer great is the experimentation of it. You know, we want to honor traditional styles, especially while there, and then put our own stamp on some of them. Like I said, as we're smoking our own grain and doing this or that. But
There's,
yeah.
So now you talk a little bit about you know, being in Asbury Park, such a creative town, and all the partnership there. Last week, community there. Is there a difference? There's got to be pluses and minuses to both places.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's funny. I've lived in Asbury now for 10 years, decade or so. My business partner lives in Point. He's been there even longer. Yeah, very different places. Obviously, Asbury's got any day of the week, there's something interesting going on. There's a lot more, you know, the business is a lot more competition, but it's a very supportive community. I think you see that in both places. You know, Point Pleasant is definitely more of that small town, you know, fisher town, you know, it's a fisherman's town. Like, it's got
also more of a family town.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things like, you know, if there's something they appreciate there, if you're doing something right, you're working hard, like they'll support it. You know, since day one, Last Wave has had a dedicated following. Or like we really have been trying to ingrain ourselves in the community because they've been so open and forthcoming and welcoming to us. You know, that's something we try to carry on over here. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot going on in Asbury. You do have to do something if you stand out, like put a wild, weird band in your chasing room and stuff like that. You know, we're definitely doing more.
Weird band.
Yeah, like, you know, there is a lot of cool. It's not just music. Obviously, Asbury Park's known for its music scene. There's a really cool art scene, comedy, poetry. You know, all these kind of things. We try to use our tasting room as a way to, you know, give people space to create too. Like, so this is something we're passionate about here. If we can share that with other people, and they can share their art. That's something we've been doing a lot more while there.
Absolutely. I heard that you guys had a sports podcast broadcast.
Yeah, we welcome some sports guys in here. Had a good time.
The only time the three of you have all been in the same place.
It was the first, yeah. Exactly. The first time the three of us. That was the first time the three of us were all together.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with Harry, and
But even outside the podcast, the first time the three of you were all together in the same place. Period.
Yeah. I grew up with Harry, and
You didn't grow up. Stop it.
well, no, I attempted to grow up with Harry.
You got old with
I
Harry.
got older with Harry. And Pete and I have been together 25 years ago, 80 years ago back in the day, but the three of us together have never been together. And over the course of the whole entire podcast, Pete and I have been together a bunch of times. He was right on that one, and Harry and I have been together.
I met Pete,
And you
we
met
got him on top.
We met Pete Montauk. But yeah, so we had our third anniversary show right here at Wild Air.
Woo!
It was amazing.
Nice.
I was there.
You were there?
You were there.
You were there? See? You were there?
There he is. Now we've got him. We've got him here. There he is.
Never on time, always on schedule. It's a wizard.
Yeah.
He's a wizard, bro. My buddy says he's a wizard.
That's also at Wild Air. So one of the things about Wild Air is Dave just mentioned, that's a quote from The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Our whole focus, the whole kind of tying thread here, we love, you know, a theme is literature.
Oh, well, the short story was written called Lenore,
Yeah.
right?
The castle is a reference to Franz Kafka.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of poetry.
True now.
Yeah.
I can't stop drinking.
Yeah.
Right? And also, if you give some movie Excalibur, that song got a huge role
Yeah.
in that movie. You know?
Yeah.
I love that salt.
Yeah, we're big.
And Nick's done something that we've done absolutely super.
Yeah.
Poetry and like,
Yeah.
and like incorporating all that.
Poetry
Readings,
jam.
live readings.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Poetry jam.
One of our biggest events now has kind of become like seasonally we try to do, showcase different classic writer. The fall makes sense for Edgar Allan Poe. It's kind of become a big hit. We did a live reading here, raised some money for the Mercy Center. It was a lot of fun to have just like, it's funny to see all these people get together for something like books and share, something we've written almost 200 years ago at this point, and to see how it resonates with people still.
And it was such a wide demographic.
Yeah.
Showed up. So it was like
Absolutely, yeah.
everybody. And it was cool. Like I met so many interesting people that night.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we're actually this Wednesday, we're doing Emily Dickinson, which is a very different than Edgar Allan Poe, but one of the best poets,
But no one knew her until after she died.
Exactly, yeah. So she was another one, Poe struggled his whole
Who's
life.
getting that one?
Yeah.
But these readings, these poetry jams, these poetry jams, they work in Asbury. Do you see them?
Yeah,
Do you see them?
folks.
I don't know. It's tough to say. It's a good question. Like I said, this is a hub for a lot of different stuff. We have a great bookstore, Little Point bookstore. Also, the Jersey Shore has a lot of great independent bookstores. We have a book co-op in town here, the Asbury Park Book Co-op.
It's the Jersey Shore.
You just can't go into it because only staff's allowed.
Yeah. Oh no, we have a take a book, leave a book section.
I know, but you can open the bookshelf.
Yeah.
You got an office back.
I do office back.
Oh, that's another picture.
Yeah.
Say, folks, what Nick is saying, what Doug is saying, whatever he's saying is Jersey Shore is more than just a beach.
Yeah.
By far more than just a beach. And a couple
Or a
clubs.
TV show.
Which
you gotta
or a
remember,
TV show.
you gotta remember Asbury Park. Asbury
We do
Park.
have a beach. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know, the beach is awesome.
But
All up and
Park
down.
used to be the music
There's a
hub.
lot more than
a
just.
lot of people, good food, good culture, a lot of history.
I know the history is like we go to music.
Yeah.
Asbury Park used to be the music hub of the Northeast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is, but it's the underground music now. It was like this. All the big bands came
You're
here.
right. Like,
Convention Hall used to be the all played down there.
And 3 of the 4 people on this podcast right now actually live at the Jersey Shore. And the one that doesn't used to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When he didn't,
But I did.
when he didn't live down the shore, I lived down the shore.
We stopped. Well, we had to. Because if one of us is north, one of us is south, we did, yeah.
The saying goes, one of us he grew up in
I grew
Taylor
up in
Ham,
Taylor Ham,
and now he's in Port Royal. I grew up in Port Royal, and I live in Taylor Ham. That's a Jersey thing. So anybody listening outside of Jersey,
Anybody in Colorado?
Right, that's what I'm explaining to you.
Might get it because.
Well, Colorado, they made a beer. Remember that purple beer?
yeah, Colorado was a Colorado.
Hey,
That was the next had to be next pack.
I was like, dude, that's
we were in Nashville. We were in Nashville for a week for CBC this past May, and we were in an Airbnb with the Publix to get a bunch of stuff, for breakfast and everything else for the Airbnb. We walked in, and there was literally one whole section of Taylor pork roll.
Now was this
In
bar?
Nashville.
Oh, Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville. I had some really good food down like.
Our hearts go out to Nashville. Nashville just got hit with
Oh, the
tornadoes
tornadoes, yeah,
again.
bad.
Yeah.
2 years ago they did. Now they did. Now the one thing I just learned, speaking of pork roll, Taylor ham, whatever you want to call it, no one's wrong. Everyone's right. More right.
Taylor pork roll, man.
Taylor pork roll ham. I just found out there is a restaurant in Hawthorne, New Jersey called Salt Pepper Ketchup.
Yes.
Gotta get there. That is one of the
SPK
great.
for short.
Yeah.
Is that mandatory? What happens if you don't get one?
You can't. All three come together.
Everything comes together.
Like you gotta get.
Can I get without the salt? No.
No.
You will be kicked out.
Exactly.
Salt, pepper, ketchup.
It's one more ketchup. It's just sugar.
It is one word. Salt, pepper, ketchup is one word.
Salt, pepper, ketchup, one word.
Exactly.
We have a lot of hot sauces here. We got a Latino base around here. So like,
Oh, yes, of course. We're the biggest Hispanic.
tons of.
No one lives in a more Hispanic town than Kerry and I do right now. Union City is the second largest student population in the country. But you can get almost any Hispanic cuisine in that town. It's so good.
It's fantastic. And in Belmar, there are 5 Mexican restaurants in a half square mile town.
What's the one on 718 right there by basement?
Yeah.
What's that spot?
It's right. It's on the corner of 17th and 17th. It's like a block away from Banks.
Yeah, it's a great, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you two guys. Nick and Fresh here.
Yeah.
Don't care about John's opinion on this. No, I do. But specifically for you guys, we have seen in the past, 2-3 years, we've seen this lager resurgence back at the lager.
Thank you. And whoever is individually responsible for it,
Yes.
thank you. And I'd like to think that it's us.
We've worked on it. We've had our hand in it.
I want to say, I remember drinking lager in Kentucky, honestly, with Sean Hill at Schoenberg Festival.
Oh, really?
And with like Oz,
But
we were like hanging out with Oz. I love Oz. But like, dude, I remember Mike, our buddy. He's a home brewer, big guy in the whole beer scene, craft beer scene.
Sean Hill, he's got a small brewery up in Vermont, right?
Yeah, pretty decent.
Yeah, a little.
It's a little bigger now. But small before. Actually. When I first went there, like 2012.
Oh, that's fine.
That was
Beautiful
awesome.
view up there.
Bill's still there. I love it, but anyway. But that's.
Milton Hill Farmstead, for those who haven't figured that out.
Go to like, who changed the lager game? I mean, honestly, like.
It was slow crawl.
I think Notch was the first one that committed to it. Like
Notch was definitely the first.
Notch,
one.
which you can finally get in America or get in New Jersey now. I mean, they were the first ones committed to not only lager, but they were like, we're gonna do everything under 5%, which said 10 years ago, everyone was doing 8-10%, hazy IPAs.
It was a race to see who could
Yeah.
put more
Well, here's the
ABV
thing.
and
Was this resurgence a reaction against IPA?
It was honestly because we all love it, right?
Yeah.
But if you drink IPA here, it's not going to overbear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's kind of like you don't want to be chewing, right? Like, I don't want to.
There's some beers you do want to choose.
Yeah,
But not an IPA.
There's certainly there is. I'm sure hot fatigue is something, but it's any great music, food. It's like what's new, what hasn't been done. It's things come in cycle,
right?
Yeah.
And it's like you develop your palate. More hot.
Yeah, I want to chew a 15% barley wine. I don't want to chew an 8%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now to the question I was going to ask you guys. This resurgence, this lager movement that's there now, is it a fad? Is it going to sustain? What do you foresee, when you look out there, what do you foresee as far as will the lager still be there? Will this still be a good business model for a brewery? 5 years from now.
Yeah, better.
I don't know. You hope it will be. That's where you guys are.
It can't go away.
No. I'm asking these two guys.
Yeah.
Right.
I think my take on that would be, I mean, there's right as you get more and more breweries. Like I said, there's not just a lot of breweries. There's a lot of good breweries now, and everyone, you have to stand out in a certain way. Whether it's becoming like any other industry, become more niche. Like offering something that you can only get in one place. To become a destination is important. It's tough to say. Like, no one knows what tomorrow's going to bring. Like I said, no one saw rock and roll coming. No one saw, like I said, like all these things. It's just when it happens, and you have to adjust. But I mean, fact of the matter is, lager has been the most consumed beer for hundreds of years, probably at this point. So I don't think it's ever going to disappear.
Good or bad lager.
It's like, I usually describe it as the Chuck Taylor effect, right? Everyone knows what Chuck Taylors are. Like, they're not always in style, but they're never out of style. So like. I think there's always a place. There's always going to be a place for lager. There's always a place made for good beer.
Right. There's going to be peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
So then, John, your thought.
What?
You started your thought, and I stopped you. But what were you thinking? What were you saying?
No. There's so much. Here's the thing, right? There's a lot of stock in the fact that younger people are dictating what we do, right? What. So juicy IPA, okay, everybody's got to get the lights on. Not so much.
I think that's more. Honestly, like, we gotta stop that.
We do. No.
But that was my point. The lager movement.
Okay, cool. I was like, we gotta stop that. Because, like, honestly, if it's good, I would drink. I will eat.
I will. You
drink
will.
anything across the board.
Yeah.
But, like, it's this whole idea, but, like,
Also, the story I tell, I must have told it 30,000 times on the show so far, but I'll say it again really quick. I had a brewery that I used to work with, all right, standing on Thursday night, midnight, no one there, me and the beer tender. two guys in their early 20s, 22, 23, 24, walk in. One's been there before, the other one hasn't. One walked in, that's been there before, he got here, he walked away. Another one's standing there, 24 taps and 2 casts. And he's looking at his menu and he doesn't know what the hell to order. So the beer tender walks over to him and says, I'm telling you this story.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I know.
The bike is took me out and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm actually.
Let it fresh deck.
Exactly. So the beer tender walks over, can I narrow it down for you? Right? He says, baby, he says, what do you like? He says, I'm a big IPA. Big IPA. His words. I heard it. Big IPA. He says, all right. Well, we have literally like 8 IPAs up there. He says, it's slow right now. I'm going to give you a little taste of each until you find what you like, and then that's the one you get. He says, sounds good. So the first thing he pours him is the flagship West Coast IPA. Pours him a little sip of it. He takes it. He almost does a spit take. He says, oh my God, that's so disgusting. It's so bitter. What the hell was that? What did you give me? He said, I thought you said you were an IPA fan. He was a juice fan,
Yeah.
obviously. But that's my point. Like, it's the younger.
Yeah, it's when you enter the beer drinking market, your perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot of other people that I've seen, I know that you probably can say so from here, when you see coming across the bar or whatever, that are actually enjoying lager.
Yeah.
They're enjoying, they've expanded the palates beyond ACIPAs.
I know a lot of people also don't obviously they get drunk. A lot of it's always kind of sort of like, listen, like, a lot can be very fine. Like, you ever drinking one in Europe, which is what obviously, I think the Czechs have been doing it the best.
Sure.
Like that's.
Oh, yeah.
So like when we're saying.
You're talking about what age?
Going on, you can see
Yeah.
the bar.
Exactly.
Unfiltered, lager.
Yeah.
Like the best way to make it. And, like, yeah. So like, we gotta break that separation of like a lager or like it's something like, hey, I just didn't drink like 50. Obviously, you drink a bunch, but like a couple, 40, that's nice. Like if I'm out on a nice summer day or a spring day, like I want to get some lager, or some coffee, but like,
It's much better to drink that on a nice spring day or even a hot summer day, right? You want to sit there and drink. I mean, I know a lot of juices don't have any additives. There's no bitterness to the brand, but you want to drink IPAs all day. You want to drink a 7.5% juicy IPA all day. You want to drink a clean lager or a couple of different styles of lager.
so this goes back to what I was saying, where like within the lager, that 5 to 10% malt bill, I'm trying to manipulate as much as I can. Because that way I'm getting more depth in the flavor. So.
Yep.
That's the five.
I know. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Well, you guys been talking. I want to get another beer, and I don't know if you were watching, but
Samurai got another beer.
you watched the beautiful Lucre pour. Your tender knows what he's doing.
I was watching everybody that's actually
Sinister Man.
Oh, he did.
Your camera was on that. So.
Yeah. So we
Good music. He's like.
Yeah, he's been playing some great like ska and reggae going out here.
But this is very like Miles Davis to punk rock to he can play it all, bro.
Well, he's on there.
Yeah. Brother.
So I got the German filter.
Unholy Disorder. That's a Kurt Mulligan reference.
Oh my God, this is
So that's another one where so that's another one where I like to try to manipulate that 5 to 7% where I can try to give it a little more depth. But so
you get some American German pilsners that gone so high on the German hops that you're not getting the malt and balance.
it's like you still want the malt to
Yes,
you
you
know,
got this balance here.
those are 4 good, great books that everyone should read. There's the yeast, malt, hops, and water. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
the
I
basic.
have them if
Yeah.
you want to,
I think we have copies in each brewery because
So, like,
that's the basis. That's if you're gonna learn.
If you want to read, and
The basic.
honestly, like malt is huge, and like I think it gets underestimated a lot.
Yeah.
So we get the stuff from Europe, obviously. So we got a lot of avant-garde, and I love avant-garde. So shout out to avant-garde. But I hate to say it, but they got a little tighter restrictions on what they're spraying on the malt.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, they keep it a little more natural.
It has
Yeah.
a little more.
Yeah.
What you can, you know, I'm not, downsizing anyone else, but it just seems to be a little.
There's a difference. Yeah.
Consistency with and
But you brought up a great point when the previous conversation while I was getting my beer. You guys were talking about, hops and the love of hops in this country, how people over hop. And this is where you guys pull back on so even though you're building some of the lagers out there with it so high on the hops, you're not tasting them all. You guys work to get all of your ingredients to shine, balance together, and that is so appreciated.
It's totally appreciated.
Yeah.
100%.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
Cheers with that. And I got a question for you now. Doug, I just saw you talking about wall, right? You were all in business.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you
I love the Giants. I love the Giants.
hold on, let's go.
Chicken
Hold
cutlet.
on. If you bring it up here,
My mom
bring it
was
up
like,
here.
I want
There you go. There you go. Salami cutlets right there.
he may not be the future of the team, but he's a fan favorite.
Tomorrow, it's Monday night game. I will be there tomorrow night.
You're gonna be there tomorrow.
I'll be there tomorrow night. Yeah. My son and I will be at the game tomorrow night.
Probably, he's a good dude, like an awesome team. He's a big supporter too, so, but yeah, I've actually won the grand prize one time.
Yeah.
And I got on-field passes.
Nice.
Fucking forward, like, dude, it was insane. And we go down to check in, and they're like, "There's no Doug Phillips." And I was like, "Oh, it might be under Dougie Fresh." And my brother-in-law, we're like,
Was it?
"Yeah, 100 G Fresh." And I was like,
That's
"Oh my
awesome.
god!" I was like, "That's how I signed up," because like it came in the mail. Like, you want them?
Did they have it? Now, hold on. Did they have it PH or F?
PH.
Yeah, PH.
You know, I love my pH balance. So
It has nothing to do with the fact that it's actually Phillips.
Right.
2 L's, 1 for each hand.
Who else? One for each hand.
So loser flag.
Double negatives. Make it a positive.
All right. So no. That's all good. I appreciate it. So wrap this up. So what both of you, Nick versus Doug, what's your outlook for going forward as far as lagers go?
Like I said, we've only been, like I said, as Doug was saying, it takes 6 weeks to make each of the beers. So like any brewery's going to go through a period of refining, what they're doing, looking at what's selling, what people are enjoying. Right? We're our own bosses, except for the people that drink the beer. Those are the people we're going to be listening to. But yeah, it's, like I said, try to pull out some new styles, that we're interested in, and then refining some of these beers that have already been a success and trying to not mess with them, but accentuate those points. Like I said, good lagers made on the fringes, right on the detail, like Doug was saying. It's the malts, the mash heads, what can we tweak there? It's not, and that's just the ingredients. It's the idea of those small pieces that we can put together to take these beers to an even better level, like I said, of nuance and layers and complexity, because it's not just fizzy yellow water at this point. We're trying to showcase that. So for us, we got some new beers we're excited about. The wild stuff is coming along, and it's been very well received. That's something else we're really proud of. That's really one of Doug's, I think, strong suits, is really showing what yeast can do when left to its own devices, with a little bit of shepherding. That's something we're excited to keep pushing, and like I said, working with local ingredients. We're very lucky to have some great stuff here in the Garden State for that. So it's tweaking what we've done, looking at some new styles that we can mess around with, and see where that takes us.
100%. I mean, everything you talk about, just like tweaking this, tweaking that. Beer, and I know I'm quoting a night shift brewing, but beer is our
Surprise.
Beer, 100%. There's no joke in there. Beer is our
My buddy actually, I remember when they opened one barrel system.
On a one-barrel system, but they were right next to five hands. They were right
And they
there.
were brewing at night, and actually, I think one of my buddies went to school with one of the owners, at the college, and I was just chatting with him the other day, and I was like, dude, they ship, and they're solid, and they have a whole,
Yeah. Beer 100% is art. And lagers are even bigger art than ales.
There's that subtle art where you sit there after a while,
And I think it's going on. So there's some stuff outside.
That's right. You can fuck with it.
It's easy to come on the high side, but the cold side I always tell is like where the money should pay for the people because like it's so easy to fall your after post fermentation and lagers take a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And there's nowhere to hide.
like that's why like even that look like you're drinking a short beer and that's I'm not gonna use that like for a week and a half. Like we're not that's not enough like Wednesday.
Right.
Next week.
Oh, the following. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So like and that's already tastes smash.
Yeah, then I have to come down and get
So
some.
like, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, like that beer. So the time and patience and like nurture. It's like, like when you can give like you allow that environment, you consistently do something like that, and that's what it all comes to. It's like,
It's almost like you know, he able to take care of beer and bring it along, nurture it, put it into fruition, right? It's almost like taking care of baby. It's almost like
How's that going for you?
it's almost like training. It's almost like training to take care of a baby, right?
Well, that's the one thing that a lot of people really don't understand
it's like a
about.
working night sometimes.
There you go.
Because you're up anyway. I think most people don't understand about a brewery and what they go through. It's an investment for them. They have to put all these ingredients in this, put all this time, sweat, lots of damn sweat. Because it is hot in a brewery. And
Organism.
Yeah.
Something that I can't even
And-
That's
And passion. It's an investment.
every batch is a risk. Every batch they put in, that is once when they batch out, they're committed. They're committed, and if it works, beautiful. You're gonna make money off the big.
I don't actually drink when I brew. So like I always drink for work though. That's something when I was in Europe, we were in Belgium with friends. We always drink to work. And then we have little tea or biscuits or something, or a little bread, or you know.
Yeah, some cut sweetness of the water.
Cut it, yeah.
So like, but that's I always consistently because if you're not willing to take something from start to finish, then I don't want to start.
Right.
That's absolutely true. And you said there's something go wrong.
Like even canning days, I'm like, yo, pour it out in the glass. Like I think we still get pissed at me every time. Like, let me get a glass. And I was like, I want to see the clarity. I want to see the can.
Before it goes in the can.
Absolutely, no, I want to take it. And I don't drink that. I'll just stay up and have whatever. But
Look, here's the thing.
because honestly, it's tough tasting beer in the morning because it's not you don't eat, so like your mouth is all acid. So like I feel like the people around me can't taste beer in the morning. You know, like what do you mean? I'm like you just wash your teeth, you get coffee, you got all these flavors. I'm like you should really try beer after lunch. Like,
They're not wrong.
and that's myself. I'm like I take something and I get my own head and I'm like oh, I'm my own head.
See, the beer brew after breakfast every morning in college wasn't good.
I told John.
Can't take all day and I'll start morning.
We had this discussion because my college roommate would do beer drinks, right? And it was always like malts and these times. We're talking a long time. Before the craft beer movement. My thing was to go after that hangover.
Mine was Jenny
Oh. But what I would
Cream.
do,
Brew some Jenny Cream.
no, so what I would do is I do Captain Crunch and I pour fluid cream.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's cheating. You can't do that.
Oh, it's so good.
Alright. Anyway. Alright, folks.
When's the actual fluid?
Went down the rabbit hole.
Oh, no, fluid I think it was last month.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, thank everybody for watching the show. We want to thank Nick and Doug and everybody
Who
who
just
was out
wandered
there.
away on it.
And for that matter, last week.
Yeah.
For putting up with us today. We're going to send in this broadcast from here. This is another great National Lager Day special show that we did.
Thank you guys. We love John. He's the fucking lemonade, Samurai. Always come by for a drink or stop by.
Always. When I'm down here.
You gotta do something. Something along those lines. But you gotta get down here.
You know, we got non-alcohol seltzers, so bring a friend. You know, we always ask us like, non-alcohol drink. I appreciate that. You know?
Yeah, no, and they have it here too. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even your Asbury Park, you get down here to Wild Air. Amazing lagers, amazing wild spontaneous from beers and just everything they're doing here. And the place is amazing. You got to get down here. And Asbury Park in general. You got to get down here.
Come here, yeah, some drinks, some food, some music.
The train's not far.
Absolutely. You can take a train.
Right
You
down.
can literally
There's
walk
a bus stop right
walk
down
4 or
in
5
front.
blocks and
Bus.
not even, and you're here. And you're
Gas as well.
Yeah.
You have no excuse.
I'll even
Take
buy
your
you a
ass
bus ticket
here.
if you want.
No.
Anyway,
Precious words.
folks, happy National Lager Day.
Hey, Precious one.
I don't know what he's talking about already. Anyway, Nick, thank you very much.
Yeah. Pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
Doug, thank you very much. All right, everybody here, thank you so much. Happy National Lager Day. We'll talk to you guys soon.
See you very soon.
Yeah.
See you soon, yeah. Exactly. Take care, guys. Cheers.
Pleasure.
Not over Precious face.